So what I'm doing is I'm building it piece by piece. I've got this first piece cut. I needed to do a 4-degree cut on the top for the ceiling angle. And then I've got pocket holes to hold it to the wall. I've also got one for the floor, and I've got marks here. So it's going to go in place, and I'm building the framework because as much as I would like to say I do great work, I don't, and these things may not be perfectly square. So I think if I do it piece by piece, then build the outside one and then the cross pieces for that, when I glue and screw these together, I can do it in place here, and that way I know it fits these angles and it's just what I need for these angles. So I've got the first piece here cut out, ready to be temporarily screwed to the wall so I can keep working on the others. But I need to go get a charger because this camera's about dead. Sorry I didn't get some of this on video. The battery is charged a little bit back up, so it's working okay. So right now I've got some temporary screws holding this board onto the wall, and this board has now been screwed into these, so that's my distance here. This is my 22.5-degree cut. I've got another one here that is ready to be test fitted, should fit right in here. We'll find out here in a second if it does or not. But that is going to be the bathroom wall and pantry wall. So it's slowly coming together. I got a ways to go on it. And then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be cutting a groove inside the edge of the board here that will fit that 5mm plywood that I've been using for like walls and stuff. And then that is going to inset into these to give it the full wall thing. And then of course on this side will be pantry and then wardrobe and storage underneath for the cooler and shoes and all. And then on this side will be space for a cabinet next to the toilet, and then I'm going to build a thinner cabinet up along the side of the window right through here for additional toiletries and linens. But we'll see how that goes. That's down the road. One step at a time, one step at a time. But it's hard to show in such a small spot, but that is the start of the wall. Try to get this to fit and screen as best as possible. So this wall is coming along pretty good. The bottom cross support is going to be the cross support for that side of the lockable hinge for the cooler. The upper cross support here is going to be for the main shelf that comes across. And then I want to do a couple extra support pieces over here because that's probably where Sonia's sewing machine is going to sit. And then we'll have pantry up above that. But the wall is coming along pretty good. I've got this 45 cut and fitted. I'm going to glue and then use pin nails from my pin nailer to hold it in place while it dries. But then that will be glued and nailed together. But it'll still be removable. And then I think what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to start working on the rest of the 45 because it's going to come out. It's hard to see on here, but it's going to come all the way out to here before it starts headed back that way. So I think I'm going to work on that. I've got the two pieces cut with the 22.5-degree bevel to them. I just need to get them fit right there, cut and installed there. And that'll give me a good idea of this 45-degree wall. And then I can set up my table saw to start making the groove cuts for the 5mm plywood to fit in these openings. Well, I got started on some more cabinets today. Got the drawer for the cooler planned out and installed. I was going to continue to build the top for it here with the drawers underneath it, but I have run out of what wood I did have on hand. I know I didn't have that much. I only had 7 pieces of the 1x2s, so I know I need to go buy some more. But I'm kind of at a standstill as far as expanding the rest of the cabinets until I do that. So I think what I'm going to turn to is getting the grooves cut in these, and getting the plywood cut and installed so I can get this wall glued together in place today. So we'll get working on that. Well, got the grooves cut, got the sheets of plywood cut for paneling, and we now have solid walls. Nothing is glued. There's only one screw holding all of that up right now. But that's going to be the next process, is getting that all assembled. I want to do it maybe, hopefully, in a way that I can pull that wall out as one section so I can glue it all together, paint it all inside, bring it out and install it as one. And I have taken the slide out drawer back out, and I've got to wait till I buy some more wood before I can start working on that again. But I think before I do any finishing, I want to get the basic bottom cabinet installed, the, I guess, countertop, for lack of a better term, on the top done, get the drawer underneath that hooked up. That'll be for our clothing bins, and have that all taken care of so that we have a flat surface here. We've got at least 4 bins for clothing. We've got our cooler stand will be finished, and then we'll have a spot for our shoes. Well, I know it doesn't look much different, but I have dismantled the wall, cleaned everything up. Everything is now glued. These 45s are nailed together. I did nails from both directions for extra strength, plus it's glued. So all of the wall panels are actually glued in place. I put a couple extra screws just to hold the wall where it belongs for right now. I reinstalled the cooler slide, did some work, and got this piece here actually attached to the floor with a pocket screw. And I've been working on the countertop, which is in my garage. I'm going to go glue that up and let it sit overnight before I bring it out here and try to set it up where it belongs. So this is the main countertop that's going to be in there, separating the lower area from the pantry and the wardrobe area. All I did is I took some 1x2s and routed out a groove so that the 5mm plywood sits inside. That's going to be the main case for it. I'm going to glue that together now and get it set. And then in the middle will be a divider underneath, because I'm going to build another shelf underneath this, so that'll give it support also in the middle. On the wardrobe side, our intent is just to hang coats off of coat hooks in that little cubby. So I'm probably not going to do anything else on that. On this side, though, this is where the sewing machine and the pantry itself is going to be above. So I'm probably going to take some other 1x2s and cut them for cross pieces and glue them in place also, just to give that side a lot more rigidity and strength for what it's going to have on it. But we'll get this glued up and clamped down, and hopefully tomorrow we'll be looking at getting it temporarily installed so I can start building other stuff. All right, it's glued up, squared up, tightened up, weighted down. Lots of ups, not very many downs. Anyway, we'll let this glue dry, and then we'll test fit it, do some work to it. I'm going to go around and make sure any cracks where the top and the edging meet are filled and smooth and sanded. And then this will eventually get painted, but I need to do some more work on it. Test fit it, see where I want to put those extra supports in for the sewing storage side, and get that worked out all before I start moving on to the next. Back at it today. The countertop, for lack of a better description, is dry. The glue is set, and it's going to be going right there. I need to cut a notch in the back for the wires that are coming down from the ceiling, and make it big enough for a couple more wires. So we'll make that happen. And then I need to get it mounted in here. Progress is being made. Not as much today as I would have hoped, but we had some visits from some friends, so that's worth more than working on this. But we've got the Countertop pretty much set and in place. The pull-out for the cooler is in place and working. I may look at getting through bolts instead of screws for those hinges just to add more strength to it. But I'm working on, I've got the perimeter boards cut for the spacer and the shelf that's going to go under here. And we'll be working on that on the next work day. So we'll hopefully get both of those built, glued together, and then we can get out here and get them installed. And then once I make sure everything has its supports and I don't need to build anything else for this, and I'm happy with where I'm at, I'll tear all of this out, take it into the garage, prime it, paint it, and then come out and install it for good. Back at it today. I was able to get the shelf here built. This actually will fit right down in here, and then this is the spacer that will go in between. I just need to build a couple of pieces that will fit underneath here to help support the sewing machine, and then I need to notch this drawer or shelf and get it fit. Once I get all that done, just go over this section here and figure out any other thing I need to do as far as paneling or supports and get it all taken care of, because then I think I can tear all this section out, take it to the garage, finish it, prime it, paint it, and then I can come in and install it for good. Well, today's gone pretty good. Got the shelf up for our bins with the divider in place. There's 2 bins, fit front to back in here. We normally carry clothes in those, and everything will be attached to the wall. I've got one of my steel plates in the back that I'll be putting some L brackets on the bottom of this shelf onto that metal so that it's got a bit more support. I think it's just a matter of now taking it all apart, and then I can fill screw holes, and got a couple of things to glue together, but not much. So I think it's pretty much ready to tear out, take into the garage, do my prep work, and get it painted so I can come back out here and install it for good. So we'll get to breaking it apart and we'll get at it. Well, everything came out. It's all in the garage. I have to say, it sure looks a lot different in here with that stuff pulled out. It hasn't been in here very long, but it sure makes a difference. Got the first coat of filler on the panels for the cabinets in here. Got that sanded, got the second coat put on this morning. So now I am starting to frame out the shower wall. This will be the wall between the shower and the kitchen. One of the reasons why I've stepped up to 1x3 is this is wide enough that I can bring my 1.5 inch sewer pipe or plumbing pipe up so I can have a vent, and that vent will be tied in with both the sink and the shower. So that's why this wall is going to be thicker than the others, is so that I can take that plumbing up through the ceiling. Well, I've run into kind of a hiccup, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to deal with this. So this wall got moved over a little bit because the shower base is a little bit wider than what we had first intended. And when you follow it up, it means the wall is going to be hitting this and coming out further than that. And I can't have that. So I'm trying to figure out how to go about building the door and the wall working together and still being able to get this fan off. So right now I am in the thought process of how to go about it and do it with the best strength and all for the wall. So that's our little hiccup. We'll work it through it though. Well, I think I've come up with a good plan. I had to take 2 things into account, but what I did when I framed this in is I just notched the wall so that it goes around the fan. There's a couple different things. When we put this fan in, the intent was to have a gap above the door so that when we're taking a shower, this is also the shower fan. Figured with as small as this trailer is and all, that would work just fine. These are good, powerful fans. We've got the window also to help with ventilation. So notching it here allows me to still pull the shroud off for the fan for any kind of repairs that I might need to do. It is close, but it does fit. The other thing I had to take into consideration when I was doing this is the shower door. We want to put on one of those sliding shower doors. So the framework's going to come up here, and I needed to make sure that it's far enough this way for the framework. So I'm hoping all my measurements are good and we won't have any issues. But now I need to pull this out and put sheeting on one side for the shower side. And once I get that all in, I can put it in here pretty much for good. So we'll keep moving forward. Things are looking different. Got all of the panels for this section of the cabinet. Got the second coat of filler on, got it sanded, and now I've got the coat of primer put down. And we'll let this dry, and then we'll hit it with at least 2 coats of paint, maybe 3 coats of paint, and then go install it. I did measure all of these pieces that I've got so far, which is the wall for the bathroom, pantry, and then the shelves and dividers and all of that. And right now I'm at 33 pounds. So I'm kind of happy with that. I don't know how I could make it any lighter and still be strong enough. So I'm just being as careful as I can, making sure I put enough supports where they need to be, and making sure my fasteners are good enough that I shouldn't have any issues. But I still am trying to make it as light as possible. We've got some hickory boards for the countertops for the kitchen and the dining area, and those are going to weigh a bit. Hickory is not a light wood, but I think once I mill them down, they won't be too bad. So if I'm lucky, I will keep all of my cabinets under about 300 pounds maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But keep chipping away at it. Now I need to get back on that wall. I was able to get to the wall a little bit more today. And I've got the one side skinned, so you get a good idea of what it's going to be like to be in the shower. It clears the fan barely, but it fits. It's all attached, and it's good and solid. So I'm really happy with the way that came out. I did some tricks that I've never tried before to make sure the wall was square, because I pulled it out of here to sheet it. And what I did is I measured from this corner down 66 inches diagonal, put a mark on it, pulled the frame out, took it to my shop where I laid the plywood on after I attached a ratchet strap, and made sure I still had that 66 inches. I clamped my really long levels to both sides to make sure they stayed straight, and then I glued it and nailed it while all of that clamp and ratchet strap were in place, and it worked. It fits the wall great. It's at the right angle. There's a little bit of gap up here, but I had that with the framework, and since I used a router flush cut bit, it gave it a really good clean finish. But I could have tweaked that top corner a little bit, but it's all going to get caulked and then covered with some type of waterproof coating. For our shower walls, I'm not going to leave it like some manufacturers do and just the wall. It will have an actual surround in it. But yeah, our shower is like coming together. All right. We have been out in the garage doing some painting. All of the cabinet pieces for over here are painted. And now we shall put them together. Well, got most of it mounted, got most of the screws in. The wall's good and solid. I do need to go buy some hardware, but I had most of the hardware with me. And then we'll get the tray for the cooler. Oh, wrong way. I got a new gimbal, so I'm playing with that too. Get some hardware for the tray, because I'm going to do through bolts instead of screws for that heavy duty drawer slide for the cooler. I'm going to put that on bolts instead and get that taken care of and done. And then yeah, we'll get that installed. And what I plan on doing is getting a couple of knobs of sorts that I can put here with a bungee. So when we're in transit, a bungee can be over it and hold the bins in. But there's 4 of those bins that we use for clothing and stuff in there. Well, we've got this section of cabinet in. There are a few spots where I dribbled a little paint and it dried, so I gotta clean up some drips later, but looking pretty good, pretty happy with it. Got the cooler mounted in place. All of that does work. We've got our shoe garage down underneath there. Probably not even going to touch the other cabinets until we get back from our next trip. We've got a section here that is our door, because that wall on the right there is permanent. It is mounted, well, I guess it could be unscrewed and taken out, but it's more or less permanent. The one on the right, on the left, of course, being painted is finished. What we want to do is get a tension rod, put a tension rod between here, and then have Sonia make a quick cloth curtain for the door, so we actually have a door for our bathroom. Wow, what a thought. So we're going to try to get that done. And now my main plan at this point is I need to do some serious cleanup, because I have made a gigantuan mess in here. But now it is start working on this area, get this table out of here, and start building the framework I want for the kitchen counter and the basic cabinet underneath. What I'm hoping is, yes, I don't know why we keep doing these deadlines, but we hope to make a trip, and I'm hoping that the microwave will be mounted in place where it's going to be for good before we leave. So got to get some cleaning, got to get some framework started here, and then yeah, then we can have a hopefully a working kitchen counter. And if I'm lucky enough, maybe I'll have the sink mounted, and even if it's just a simple drain into a 5-gallon jug so that we can actually use a sink, that would be super, super nice. We'll see, though.
So this is my last little bit of work for today. This t-shirt is the one that Kimmy cares the most about. It has all these signatures on it, and she wants all of them. And that makes it tricky because of the placement. This is where the sleeves were. And there's no good way to like cut part of it off and make it into 2 separate pieces. So what I'm doing is I have cut some extra of the fabric after making that straight. And fortunately I have some practice with set-in seams for quilts. So that's what I'm going to do here is stitch this piece in right there to make it square, and right here so that I can square up those ends. And then it will be one nice big, I guess, rectangle, not square, but smooth edges, straight edges. And that's the last thing that I have to do to have all the pieces of the must-have stuff in the quilt. I know that I'm going to need to do some stuff for spacing. I'll deal with that as I come across stuff, but this is the last of the prep work, I guess you would say, and from here on it's assembly. So I'm going to get this put together. Okay, I am back to work on my daughter's t-shirt quilt. I got all my pieces cut out and they all have interfacing on the back. And I spent some time rearranging them up here. This is about the distance that I need for the backing that we have. And mostly I've been very happy with how these are laid out. Some pieces just don't want to match up, and then I had it all together, and then we found one that had fallen down before I started using the pins to hold them up on the wall, so then I had to do some more rearranging. Thank you, Keith, for helping me with that. Anyway, so I'm putting pieces together now. The bits of the horse quilt and the pink from the apron up there is what I'm using to fill in blank spaces Right now I'm actually cutting some piece of the horse that I'm going to put on this side so that it'll be about the same width as that. And I'm just basically putting sections together. You can see here I have a few pieces put together. I've got those together, those together, those together, a couple here together, and a couple down at the bottom that are together. So I'm just joining pieces as I can, and then I'm just going to try to finish puzzling it together. I think the top 2/3 I think will fit together pretty nicely. The bottom third may take a little more finagling, but I think I have enough of the extra fabric to make it look okay. So I'm excited to be getting this far on it, and I hope that she's going to forgive me for taking so long to actually get this done. Anyway, I'm going to get back to work and we'll catch up again later. Okay, so we are getting ready to go camping. We are just about ready to go, I think. Suddenly realized that we don't have the door for our bathroom, and the curtain that I had done before that we just thumbtacked to the ceiling, that fabric is what I used to make the actual curtains that are in the trailer right now. So I'm trying to make a quick door curtain. So I have a length of fabric that it's just fabric I have, and I'm going to quickly run a seam down the center of it so that I have a width big enough. And then I'm going to fold over the top real quick and stitch it, and that's going to be it. I'm not going to worry about hemming it or anything else. This is just totally utilitarian and as quickly as can possibly be done. Okay, so I just eyeballed a hem here that I pressed down, then I folded it under and pressed it to that. Now what I'm going to do is I measure down about 4 inches. I'm going to bring my hem to that line and pin it, and then I'm just going to top stitch across that, and that will be that. Okay, there's the curtain done. Has a little hem at the top. I didn't hem the sides at all. Didn't hem the bottom at all. I did straighten it out because it was jagged, and that's it. Now we just need a tension rod, and that will get gathered up and it will hang, and we will have a bathroom door.